Hello everyone and welcome back to the Regular Size Man podcast. My name is Sam and today we are doing the Star Wars Regular Size review and we're going to be joined by, of course, Jacob and a special guest, Jamie. So,
hello.
say hello.
Hello, thanks for having me back.
No,
good to have you back.
Yes,
definitely.
it's me. Yes, it's the second reappearance. Yeah, you could say.
Second? Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Did
go.
you come for another one besides Joker?
Nah, it's just the Joker.
So this is the second appearance on the show.
Second.
So yeah, today we're going to be reviewing Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Now, a huge disclaimer, we're going to be talking full spoilers. So our review is full spoilers. We're not really going to sugarcoat this. We thought about doing a non-spoiler review, but we do like talking about the spoilers way too much. So
I don't think we'd get a good amount of time.
no, we wouldn't get a lot of it out of it.
I don't have a filter.
Yeah, it would just be like, oh yeah, next thing you know, bang. So anyway, this is your last warning. Click off the podcast if you do not want spoilers. Otherwise, we're about to get into it. So firstly, let's talk about the reviews from that's been the general consensus of the movie. If we're going to compare this to The Last Jedi, which was Episode 8, Episode 8 had a 91% critics rating and a 43% audience rating. But Rise of Skywalker is a 56% from the critics and audience and 89%. And I don't really know why. It's very confusing.
Yeah, it definitely baffles the crap out of me.
Because I'm not too sure what the critics loved about number 8. Because...
Well, I remember I read the description from Rotten Tomatoes, the basic description from Rotten Tomatoes, and it was that I think it was a lot of depth added to the story, and I think it was something to do with fan service. But even then, I was like,
Honestly, I kind of get it. You look at all the reviews online, and it's all criticism, and it's all none of it's plot or characters. It's all on the filmmaking, like it's all how it's really jumpy and how like they cut to conclusions really quick, and like they just like cram a lot in. But I think so film critics are looking at that and they're looking at how it's been made, and they're like, yeah, not the best. There's better out there. But then the fans are looking at it and they're looking at the plot, the characters, the story, and they're loving it. I don't think they're really looking at how it's made.
Yeah, I won't lie. When I was first watching the movie, and I'm glad we did this a few days after we saw it, because when I was first watching it, I was sitting there in my chair, like gripping on. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Oh my god, this is amazing. And then now that I've like taken a few days, I've really settled in and really just thought about the movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love it, and I still think it was a very good movie. However, I don't see the critics' point of view for a lot of reasons.
well, look. I mean, we'll start to get into the actual movie in just a second, but I think just quickly, I back to what you said, Jamie. I understand that it was very jumpy. I did feel like it was very jumpy, and at times I don't think we were really able to feel the full gravity of what had just happened, because they would jump straight to the next thing. But I don't think that was so much of a deal breaker that there is such a discrepancy in the last two films. Like, I can note a lot of things wrong, or a lot of things that I didn't like personally from The Last Jedi. And obviously I'm not a critic, but I think there was a lot more wrong with The Last Jedi than Rise of Skywalker.
I think we can call ourselves critics now. This is our third review.
Yeah, I mean, we can call ourselves critics, but I don't think a lot of other people would. But
I don't care.
Look, we'll just jump straight into it though. If you, I'll go with you guys first. If you could have just one non-spoiler filled sentence to describe the movie before we get into it.
You can go first, Jamie. Let's see what you got.
Let me think about it. Let me think about it.
I have one, but this is like I don't know how to word it. I'm basically going to say it's the Avengers Endgame, but Star Wars version, in the sense that it's a fan service.
Okay.
It's the last hurrah for the fans.
I'm gonna go with
that's my sentence.
I
last
like
hurrah for
that.
the fans.
Okay, good. That's good.
Thank you.
I'm probably gonna go with something like, actually, Jamie, if you got one quickly, because I'm piecing mine together.
Mate, Sam's taking exactly what I was going to say. I was literally going to say, like, this is definitely one for the fans. Like,
okay, I'll go one. What could have been had JJ directed The Last Jedi?
That's a big one.
Oh, no, don't say that.
Yep.
Don't say that.
Yep.
Which we're going to get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
So, let's go. What was your favourite action sequence from the movie? Like, the whole thing, what was your favourite sequence?
Look, I think it's really, really, really hard to go past the battle between Kylo and Rey on the Death Star wreckage.
Yeah, on the moon of Endor.
Was that on the moon of Endor? Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
That was sick.
Yeah,
that was so sick.
Sam, I mean, I feel like...
Yeah, see, I'm going to have to agree with you. I really enjoy... One of my favourite things about this movie was Kylo Ren. Adam Driver?
The whole trilogy, really.
Yeah. Adam Driver, he really... I felt like in number 8, they wrote him, the way that his character was written, it kind of dropped the ball for him a little bit. But in this one, he really like showed his Darth Vader potential. Like even like when the movie opened, you could see him just like tearing through the villages and stuff, and it was like, fuck, he's Darth Vader. Like,
He's on a mission.
He's on a mission,
He's
and
a bad man.
yeah, I think he's a bad man. And, and then that battle between Rey and Kylo Ren, I really enjoyed it as well. I think that was really the turning point in the movie as well.
Yeah.
But it was just a really good battle all around. It really showed both of their potentials.
What did you think of the fight between Kylo and the Knight? That was the Knights of Ren that he fought, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When they got to Palpatine,
That was
right?
their only fucking fight.
I think it was their only fight. So yeah. What did you guys think of that fight?
But you can go first, Jamie. I'll let you.
That was good, yeah. But I feel like like if we saw more of the Knights of Ren actually fighting, it'd
Would have been, I think, yeah.
like because we saw them for pretty much the whole movie. All they did was like follow Poe and Finn. Like that's all they really did. We didn't
That's
actually
true,
see them
that's
fight.
true.
We didn't see their true like
I think the
how
only
strong they are.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were in it from the get go, as we said, like how
Yeah.
Kylo was hunting them down, and then I was like, okay, we're poised for something really big
Like,
with
they
the
were
Knights
cool.
of Ren.
They were cool.
And then when they got to what was the planet? Did they go back to? No, what was the planet? The desert planet they went to, with the festival.
I know the one you're talking about. I forgot the name.
I know. Well, anyway, where Chewie gets captured.
Yep.
The Knights were there, and I was like, okay, something is about to go. Like it's just something's about to go down, and then pretty much from there they were not featured in the rest of the movie.
And like you didn't even see him take Chewie. You saw them follow Chewie, and then it was just they took Chewie.
Yeah. Oh
That was
no,
it.
exactly,
That was it.
exactly. It was the turnaround. It was it was Chewie turning around the corner, and then they've got him, and they didn't show anything like
Next
any
second he's
struggle
gone.
or anything, but like and I think I'm with you. I think it would have made that scene against Kylo so much better had they shown a bit more of what they, because we didn't see at all what they could do in any of the films, and as we've said, I think if JJ directed number 8, we would have seen a little bit there, but yeah, this one kind of was lacking a bit of that.
So this really goes on to our next point, or our next question is, what was your least favourite scene and why? Because I'm stuck on this question. I got 2 answers. So I want to hear your guys' opinions first on what your least favourite scene, or like least favourite aspect of the movie overall, or what could have been improved.
Well, there's the Knights of Ren is a big one.
Yep.
The Knights of Ren one is a big one for me. I've got other stuff, but I'll let Jamie go first, but it's a big one for me.
It's got to be the kiss.
The kiss?
Yeah, that's
dumb.
mine.
very
That's mine.
controversial, the
Dumb.
kiss.
I think we all. I mean, I was sitting next to both of you two, actually, in the middle of
Yeah.
you two, and I think I heard all of us three go no.
Just like,
no,
I was like,
no.
why?
I heard
Why
Just
did
under
that
our
have to
breath.
happen?
consensus sigh from
I
everyone.
really
Yeah.
didn't want them to kiss. I'm really sad they kissed.
It was just forced. It felt very forced to me, because it was like they never showed signs of like
No.
being in love or anything.
No.
It's just kind of like,
I think the relationship that was implied or shown was more of a brother sister.
Yeah, I know. That's what was weird about
Yeah.
it. Like obviously they're not related, but it still felt just wrong.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think like don't get me wrong, I've been thinking about it, and I'm like how out of place it felt, and I'm kind of like, no. Then again, he has just given all of his power to do this, and she's done this as well. Like I can kind of understand just a moment of passion, because I guess they are connected in a lot of ways. But as you just said, like the whole time I'm like, this is a brother and sister relationship. This is really
It's the only
weird.
time he smiled in the whole trilogy as well.
Exactly, yeah.
And like, wouldn't you have preferred if they were like looking at each other and it looked like they were going to kiss, and then he just dropped dead instead of them kissing and then he dies? Like,
Yep.
I get the whole sentimental value behind the kiss. Is kind of like sacrifice his life. Thanks, give me a smooch. But at the same time, it's kind of like it wasn't needed.
It should have just been a long stare into each other's eyes, and then you see like the life in him go away,
Mate, he should
and
have
then
said
she
something.
puts his
Yeah.
head down.
I don't think he had a line in the whole last hour of the movie.
No, I don't think so either.
He did
actually.
not have a
He
lot
did
of
not.
no.
But like, one of the things I felt, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, I felt like this happened, or like the kiss happened, because I feel like they were trying, and this is sort of a negative, they were trying to make Ray, Poe, and Finn be like Han, Luke, and Leia.
Yeah.
And so, it kind of felt like the kiss was like, they were in love, like Han and Leia were in love. Han and Leia. So like, let's give them a love story, so everyone falls in love with these two characters being together.
I definitely think you got a bit of merit to that.
So I don't know.
I know that me personally, like, look, I'm overlooking it a tad because the rest of the movie was very good.
Yeah.
And I'm also inclined to overlook it because he died.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I said that
Yeah.
straight away. I said,
Yeah.
look, had he survived, I would have been.
If it was like a happy ever after
in all
thing,
honesty,
shit.
that would have broken the movie for me.
Mm.
If he if he was alive and that kiss had obviously still happened, because again, it was so forced and it was so just unnatural and weird that like had he lived, it's just, I don't know, like I wouldn't have wanted to hear anything else that happened
Then
with those
there's the
people.
whole thing like what does he like? If he had lived, like where would he have fit in? Like surely no one's gonna forgive all the shit he did.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. No, I think
you
yeah.
can't just look past all that stuff. Like,
I mean, him dying was a good, good option on David
I am
Abrams' part.
genuinely glad.
Yeah,
he
I do.
died.
I do.
Like that
It
was
completed his arc in a whole heap of ways, I think. But yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely was the best result for him.
he redeemed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I didn't like, but I felt like was just underused or underutilized was Rey's lightning power. Like we only saw her use it once in the entire movie. Like she found out she had it
Accident.
with by accident, and she just didn't use it whatsoever. I felt like it was just such a cool thing that she had, and they just didn't do anything about it. It's wow, she has lightning power, and the only other person that has lightning power is Palpatine.
I don't know if she really knew how to use it though. Like
That's true. I think it would have been really cool to see her use it against Palpatine, though.
Exactly. Or like to see her like get so angry with Palpatine that she like uses it.
Yeah.
Or like against, or like the guards.
Then again,
Like the guards come in like they're overpowering, and she gets really mad and she uses her lightning power to get rid of them all. And like
yeah. Then again, I suppose like because I'm with you, but now that I'm thinking about it, I suppose it is a Sith. I mean, it is associated with Sith, like with the Sith Empire. So I suppose
Sith lightning.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But like when she used it to get Chewie, like she didn't mean to, and she used all that emotion, which is against the Jedi way. Like she used all this anger and stuff. So I suppose maybe through her using it, that's kind of like it's not alluding that she would have become evil, but it's kind of, do you know what I mean? Like it's associated with the Sith. So
it's just potential.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Would you have liked to see a fight scene between Rey and Dark Rey, like when she's in that on the boat? Like a small one, and she like lightning powers herself, and she like snaps out of the dream. Like I just thought of this now.
I don't know.
Like it's just a small one, like a
no,
10-second one.
No, I don't think so. I think I was pretty happy with how they had Dark Rey.
Yeah.
Like
I liked how it was
didn't.
all in her head. I like.
Yeah, I like that
mental
too.
battle.
And I'm glad they kind of teased that in the trailer because it threw everybody off. Everyone thought it was going to be a massive part of the movie, and
everyone thought
it
she
wasn't.
was going to turn Sith.
Yeah, but no, but I like how it was actually.
So did you like Rey's story as a whole? Like going into like Rey as a character, her being like the Luke of the trilogy, I guess. Like we'll say this, did you like Rey's story? Did you like the whole thing, or like
Well, if I'm being 100% honest, I just wanted to call this out here. I did call that Luke that she was going to be a Palpatine. Sorry, Rey was going to be a Palpatine.
I think we kind of established it was fairly obvious, and
I said that
in the
last.
podcast.
I said it in the podcast.
Yes.
All right.
Full
I didn't look. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't hear a lot of people saying this anywhere,
I'm surprised though.
and I'm
was-
very
it
glad
was
that I
online.
said it.
It was online.
Okay, well, I said it, all right, and
It didn't
I'm
look
calling
alike.
it. It was me. But no, I really liked her story arc, to be honest with you. I thought it was actually really, really good. From the beginning to the end, I'm glad her parents were, her relatives, I guess, was someone, and had a lot of meaning. But I think my main problem with it is that Palpatine wasn't mentioned in any previous of the last three movies. The last two movies, sorry.
See, I was thinking about that, and it's like in what is it, the last two, like the first two in the last trilogy, it's not hinted then, but then you look at the prequels and the way he talks about like Darth Plagueis and like how he can manipulate the mitochondria. Is that, was it mitochondria?
No, mitochondria is an actual thing. It's the powerhouse of the cell.
Midichlorians.
Bit of biology there.
Jedi. Yeah, the way he talks about that and how like Darth Plagueis is like learnt how to control the midichlorians and harness life and like keep his loved ones alive. Like that hints at it like a lot, and then he hints at like before he turns into a Sith, he's talking to Anakin about how like he's telling Plagueis' story and how like he learned that, and then one night he was betrayed by his apprentice, and then like obviously like the apprentice was Palpatine.
But I think that you go back and watch the original trilogy, and even in the first one when Obi-Wan like he's like, I fought with your father in the Clone Wars, like, and all these things, like there's at least some sense of hinting towards that Anakin is Luke's father. But in this one I feel like, and again I think this is partly because someone else directed The Last Jedi,
and we're gonna get into
and
that.
and it wasn't
really
JJ.
Impulsive.
But and don't get me wrong, I do like the story. I'm glad that the Palpatine, and I'm glad how it ended. But I think that it suffers from the fact that look, I haven't gone back and watched Force Awakens yet, but I don't think that if I did, I would find any hints towards this.
No.
Like, and again, and as I
The
said,
only hints, I was watching a video online a couple of days ago. The only hints are their fighting style, because Palpatine's fighting style is like renowned for the way he adapts to who he's fighting. Like,
okay,
there's like, I don't know them all, but there's like a few different types of fighting styles. There's like Yoda's does all the acrobatics and shit. Mace Windu does like, what does he do? I can't remember what he does, but like they've all got different ones. And Palpatine's fighting style is that he learns to like adapt and use it against them. And then you watch Rey in her first fight with Kylo in Force Awakens, and it's the same thing. Like, obviously she doesn't have like nearly as much training, but that's why, like, she's so strong with the Force and she fights the way Palpatine did.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. But even then, that's really subtle. What do you think, like, of the story arc as well overall?
I liked Rey's story arc. I think she was a good option. And, you know, Daisy Ridley killed Rey. I just want to put that out on the record. She did a fantastic job. I mean, it was different to the prequels and the original trilogy, and I really, you know, I liked it. I think it was a good story. I don't really, like, know what else to say besides that. I thought it was a good story, and it was a different perspective on Star Wars. I think the director issue did hinder it a little bit, and you want to get into this now? Like, yeah. So the problem was, I found, with The Last Jedi and then The Force Awakens in number 9, it felt like The Last Jedi was just out of place. Because the problem is, and I'll compare this to Marvel because I feel like Marvel's the easiest example. Kevin Feige, Big Kev, he's like, this is the story we're going to do. If you want to direct this movie, you need to be on board with this story, and it's got to fit in with the timeline. And everyone's like, yeah, cool. And then they make the movie according to the timeline. But then you have Star Wars, where Rian Johnson, who directed The Last Jedi, had a different vision for things compared to J.J. Abrams. So, for the example, in The Last Jedi, when he turns Luke Skywalker into a grumpy old man, you know, and then J.J. Abrams is like, no, he's actually like, you know...
He's a symbol of hope. He's a symbol of hope in all 7 previous movies.
Yeah, and then you turn him to this, and then turn him back. It's kind of like, it's not very consistent. And I felt like at times in the movie, in the Rise of Skywalker, J.J. Abrams had to undo what Rian Johnson did. And there weren't necessarily bad things that he did, Rian Johnson. Like, a lot of it was. But like, some of it I felt like was wasted time. So, for example, I'm going to have to use Rose. Because in number 8, they made such a big deal of Rose and Finn being a thing. Like, you know, when Rose saved his life and then kissed him and whatnot. And then you see Rise of Skywalker, they're talking to each other.
I think Rose has, like, 2 sentences in the movie.
Yeah, but they tried to give her a few sentences just to kind of make up on the character.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But like you know, Finn and her were talking, and then Finn would just give her a tap on the shoulder and just leave. They wouldn't like.
No, I'm with you. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like JJ didn't even care about Rose at all.
No,
and he just had to give her a couple of lines. And look, I didn't. And Rose was definitely one of the things I didn't like about The Last Jedi.
No, she wasn't. I don't really see why she was there in the first place.
Yeah, I think she was very insignificant.
The scene where she saved Finn pissed me off.
Yeah, I didn't like that scene.
Why did you do that? Like,
yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, she didn't need to do that. Like, people were sacrificing things for the resistance, and he was going to do that. You shouldn't. I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, I think having the 2 different directors with conflicting ideas was a bit harmful to this. Like, to this trilogy.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, it could have been executed a lot better. I mean, to be fair, the story did flow correctly, but I feel like the elements of how the story got from number 7 to number 9, some of the things could have definitely been changed.
Oh, no doubt. I think you go.
I'm saying, like, you know, I mean, I liked Rey's progression in The Last Jedi, but the rest of the characters, I didn't.
But I think that's the thing with Rey, because she's the Luke. Like, she is the main focus. Her trajectory and her arc was never really going to change, no matter who directed what.
Yeah.
But then you've got everybody else on the background that might change. And as we said, like, I think the biggest thing that I have a problem with The Last Jedi is they changed Luke from being this symbol of hope and this legend. And like, I think it was perfectly reasonable for him to be seen as a legend and a hero in this universe. And then you just flipped him on the other side and shown that he has given up and he has all this shit. Like, I think you could have made a much better story for him wanting to go away from everything than he's so cynical and wants the Jedi to burn.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, surely he'd still want the universe to be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I reckon if JJ had directed the second, then the third wouldn't have been so, like, felt like it had too much in it, like
Yeah.
too much plot. Like
Because you did
it could
mention
have
that to me.
flowed from, like, it almost feels like there could have been a part 2 to the third. Like there was just so much happened, and it didn't feel like it was trying to fit too much in, but it was getting there.
Which I think it was definitely on the threshold.
It was
of
getting
it. Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it was a bit. It was ballsy from JJ to like
Yeah.
fit like so much in.
Yeah.
See, whereas if he had directed the second one as well, then he could have like flown between the two.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think he had a lot of story to tell, and he wanted to tell the story, but he didn't know how to with just one
Yeah.
movie.
Because now that I think about it, like our complaint about the Knights of Ren, I think had there been more of them in this film, I think it might have actually been a bit too much.
Like,
but then,
sorry.
but so no, it's okay. But then you put them in at number 8, more in number 8, or sorry, the amount they were in number 9 in number 8. Then I think, and then probably a little bit more in number 9. Then I think you've got a much better flowing trilogy.
Because like I would have liked to see a bit more of Rey using her proper power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In like number 9, but because they had to squish so much story in, it was less story, less fighting scenes, more story, and it was pretty much just a story, like storytelling, which is why I go back to the whole fan service thing. It was telling the story that the fans wanted to like conclude everything, and they had to fit so much in because of how big the whole like Star Wars universe is.
Of course,
So it was a hard task, and I do give J.J. Abrams a lot of credit for, trying to fix one movie, making his own movie with a good storyline, and then concluding 40 plus years worth of like Star Wars into this.
What did you guys think of any of the new additional characters, such as I don't know what the name was, but the chick that Poe has a history with?
I liked her.
I liked her.
She was cool.
Baba Frick, the little dude that fixes C-3PO.
The other runaway clone trooper, the chick.
Yeah, I don't remember her name either, but I'm sure we can find that.
Yeah. And whilst you're doing that, I think those characters were a smart addition because what they did was they added a bit of comedy to the movie, and I liked the fact that they were able to blend comedy with the storyline just to kind of add like some lighthearted humor. I think that's a bit of a Disney influence as well.
And they opened the door for so many spin-offs.
Yeah, that too.
So you've got Zori Bliss, who was the character that Poe had a history with, played by Kerry Russell.
Zori. It's Zori.
Zori, sorry, yeah, you're right. I'll find the other ones. As we said, Baba Frick. Keep talking because I'm
Baba
gonna
Frick
take
was
me
good.
a while. I like Baba Frick.
Baba Frick was funny.
I like Baba Frick. It was good. What about D.O.? Was it D.O. or D1?
I don't know who you're
the
talking about.
little droid.
The one that was on
Ochi's ship. On Ochi's ship. What did you guys think of D.O.?
I mean, it was.
I thought he was kind of cool.
I thought he added some nice couple liners, but
he wasn't as useful as I thought he was going to be.
yeah.
Remember he had the information about the Sith moon or the Sith planet. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
Exegol.
Yeah. And
I really
they didn't do
that.
anything with it, did they?
No, they did. No,
What did
because
they do?
he was the one that knew. He knew something, didn't he? He knew where it was.
No.
Yeah, because they crushed the thing.
Ray knew where it was. They followed Ray.
Oh, that's right. But what did he know? He knew something, and he knew something, and they used it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, going on.
Look,
I also liked.
I was Jana.
Jana. Yeah, I also like Jana. She was really good. I think that's a whole spin-off in itself about her people.
Have you heard there's a theory that she's Lando's daughter?
Yeah, I think that was confirmed or something.
Yeah, I don't.
I think it was quite.
Well, she
confirmed or like it was. There was mentioned about it.
Did you know
she wears the same colors. She wears the gold, from parts of the movie, and then they have that touching scene at the end, which I think would definitely be true. I don't really think it needs.
That was the biggest. That was the biggest hint of a spin-off.
I don't think it needs to be necessary though.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like I think
cool,
it's
but
yeah, but I don't. I don't.
Did you
really
see that Admiral Akbar's son was in it as well?
Yeah,
That was funny.
Yeah, I did like that. I was talking to Brian actually, who is not here, but he did see the movie without us after the debacle that he.
Yeah, that's the story for the podcast. Go check the podcast.
But he did say that he thinks, was it him, that he would really like to see a spin-off of Poe with Zori.
Yeah.
You said that as well, yeah. And I agree. I think it'd be really, really cool.
That would be cool.
I'm not clamoring for it.
I don't want it to be necessarily like a Poe origin story, like not from when he was born, but from that whole spice running saga.
Yeah,
I reckon that'd be good.
Yeah.
But then again, you could do the Poe and Zori. You could do the Jana and her people getting away as like a series. Like there is a lot that you can do. And it's just really, they're going to be selective. I don't think they'll do any of them, I'll be honest with you.
No, I don't think they're going to do many of them either.
No, I don't think they'll do any.
I
think they'll wait until their new trilogy.
I think
whatever
you're
they're
probably
going
right.
to do. Which they'll probably just go on from this whole thing and make it like the Rey. Like
I don't think
instead
they
of
will.
Skywalker, you don't think they'll...
No. Well, look,
you don't think they'll go back to the lightsabers at the end? You don't think they'll go back to them? You think that's done?
I think that's done. Because it's the end of the... I think it's the end of the saga, and I think they mean that.
Yeah. You'd hope so.
Yeah. Look, and I know we've got a couple of dot points. Just want to add one more thing before we go to the next dot points. So Jamie was messaging me about Rey's lightsaber at the end.
The gold one.
And look, it's really cool.
The gold one?
Yes. I really like the yellow one.
It's gold. It is gold.
Gold. Sorry, it's gold. Okay, yeah. I really think it looks. I think it looks sick. I'm really glad they did that. And do you want to tell me what you told me?
Well, for starters, the new lightsaber, you look at it closely, you can see it's either made from or modelled from her staff, which is clearly she loves it. She loves her staff. Like we saw.
She does love her staff.
Well, we saw in the scene with the battle bot or in the forest when Leia was training her.
Oh
She
yeah.
couldn't kill the thing with the
So she used the staff. Yeah, you're right.
A big staff stick and stabbed it.
She also uses scrap metal as well.
Yeah,
which is significant to her.
A scavenger.
Yep.
So pretty much, kyber crystals, the energy source of lightsabers, their purest form, they're white. So there are such. I don't know the history of them, but there are.
It's basically for Jedis that don't have the Force ability.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not Jedis, but wielders of the lightsaber without the Force ability, which is really cool.
So I think. What was it?
It was blue lightsabers are for the knights,
the
more than
force,
anything else, which are the ones.
The force that the Jedi holds determines the color of the lightsaber.
So it's more for the ones that are proliferant in combat with blue. Yeah. So obviously you see that in Obi-Wan and Anakin, and then you've got green, which was for more of like obviously the Masters and more of the not so like they're more force sensitive. They're more connected with the Force, and they prefer not to engage in attack, but more...
They're more resourceful, aren't they?
Yeah. And then you've got... I think purple was just the exclusion for Mace Windu, because Samuel L. Jackson wanted a different colour.
Oh, no, there was something...
But there was an actual reason, but that was the actual reason in that movie, but anyway, that's fun.
I think he just found the crystals. I think like he genuinely found...
Probably.
I can't remember.
And then you've got, yellow. And what was yellow again?
Yellow was a mix of both.
I think it was something. I think yellow was something along the lines of being really close with the Force. Was it?
Yeah, I remember reading something about it. It was very like.
It's very interesting. Look, and if that's how they're doing it in the movies as well as like, because this is lore, like it's in the comics and all that kind of stuff. But if that is in this movie, I think that's really interesting.
But you got to remember that when Disney bought Lucasfilm, they did say that, it was only the movies and the TV shows that counted. The comic books and everything were not a part of, like, didn't count as
That's a
part
good
of
point.
that.
Yeah.
So you can't go off the comics for this one.
No, that's a good point.
So unless they've just given it its own meaning, it's really just,
Yeah.
Yellow is Jedi Sentinel.
Oh, well, there you go.
Type of Jedi that learns practical skills and seeks a more balanced view than the consulars and the guardians.
Yeah.
There
you go. I just thought it was really interesting kind of fact and pointed towards why Rey may have yellow, and I'm glad that she's the first in the Star Wars universe to have yellow.
Yeah, she's not
the movie universe.
Yeah, she's not the first in canon though.
No.
What are they? The Jedi Guardians or the Jedi? Not Jedi Knights. These are the people that guard the temples. They've got yellow sabers.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that. But anyway, yeah, really interesting.
Not technically Jedi.
Cool.
I think
so, as an ending to a 9-film saga. How did it go with tying everything up? So where does it rank with where do you rank this trilogy with the other two?
You go first, Sam. We just talked your ass off. You go first.
I think this ranks at the bottom of the three trilogies, unfortunately. The only reason I say it, the original trilogy...
I hate you for this.
The prequels are number one.
I should have seen this. I should have seen this one coming.
No, okay. It's a toss-up between... So the original trilogy is obviously number one.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go between the prequels and this one... I enjoyed the prequels a lot. And number 8, I'll be honest, if number 8 was good, I'd rank it second or close to first. It's more that the prequels were consistently good for me anyway. I know you're seething at that thought, that comment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for me, the original trilogy is the original trilogy. You can't that's
I think it's untouchable.
And I mean, actually no, I'm gonna put it a second.
I'm
thinking about it. Phantom Menace ruined it. And then Attack of the Clones, everyone shits on that movie. I thought that was alright.
Okay.
And then, but Revenge of the Sith is honestly
Revenge of the Sith is okay.
It's one of the best Star Wars.
It's one of the best ones.
It's the best
top
one out
3.
It's the best one out of the prequels. It's not the.
It's better than most of the movies
Okay.
in the Star Wars universe.
Okay.
So that's why. But no, okay, I'll put it at second because it's Force Awakens and this one were very good. So 2 out of 3. We'll go, yeah, it's original trilogy, this trilogy, prequels.
What about you?
Yeah, the original trilogy has to be at the top. Has to be.
Are you going prequels? Second?
Nah, I won't go prequels. I'll go the most recent trio. But yeah, I feel like number 8 lets it down because there's not as much cohesion as there are in the prequels.
Yep,
Like
I agree.
The prequels are well paced and they blend into each other. As shit as the movies are,
No,
they're not shit.
No,
take
like,
that
you know
back.
what I
They're
mean?
good.
I do take it back, but they just work better together than.
Yes, I think they're a better.
The
I
most
think
recent
okay.
one.
I think if you're gonna argue that the fact that they're a better, that they flow better and I'm gonna say better trilogy, but I mean in the fact of you look at 3 movies
Yeah.
that go from one to another, then yes,
Yeah.
fair enough.
As
But,
a
yeah.
trilogy, as a trilogy as a whole, they are better than the most recent trilogy. But I think, yeah,
No,
I think these ones I
yeah.
would put them last just because they're a bit.
Okay,
they're a
well,
bit dodgy.
I'm the same as you, Sam, but for me, it's easily second. I think, yeah, if number 8 was much better, I think you could probably push for better than the originals. But look, that's a different conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so to end our review, is there any universe that beats the Star Wars universe?
I don't know, man.
I'm still a big fan of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, I haven't seen Lord of
I
the
love
Rings,
Lord of
so
the
I
Rings.
definitely can't argue that.
Uh,
But look, I think the Star Wars universe is very good. I think it was demonstrated in this movie as well with the addition of like Barbara Frick and Jana and what's her name, Zol, what's a thinger, you know, Kerry Russell's character, Zori, yep.
Yeah, I think this does take the cake. I mean,
I think the Star Wars universe does definitely. I like you
Yeah.
even look at Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, like just that, like
Alright, we get it. You like the
I
game.
love the game.
the thing
Like
is,
no,
you
just everything you're able to do in all the spin-offs. Like you can argue that a lot of the spin-offs are shit, but the universe is.
the more you
Second
got the
research
most
into
potential.
the universe as well, there's so much out there. Like there's so much history to it. Like
Yeah.
there's stuff like 5,000 years pre-Clone Wars. Like
Yeah.
there's so much stuff.
And it doesn't feel
That's
to me.
unlike any other franchise though. Like Harry Potter, Marvel.
Yeah,
Lord of the
like,
Rings,
I mean,
there's
like, I
nothing
think
outside, barely anything outside the movies.
if you compare it to Harry Potter, for example, I
We're
think
not.
when
Harry Potter
no,
sucks.
here's my argument. Okay, all right.
It's
Well,
alright.
that's a
Doesn't-
conversation for
doesn't
another day.
compete,
But I think but I think if you look at the Harry Potter universe, yes, I think that when they do spin-offs like Fantastic Beasts, I feel like it was very forced. Like you don't hear it being alluded to in any way, or that there's a wider universe outside of those books or movies, however you want to talk about it. But then you look at Star Wars and it's like,
you sort of forget it has anything to do with it.
yeah,
Except for the couple names dropped every now
and
and
like
then.
yeah, but then you have a look at Star Wars and it's like every single thing that is introduced, like the Mandalorian, everything. It's like okay, like it's not necessarily been specifically said that this exists, but like you're like okay, there's definitely a wider universe and they could go anywhere.
The way
So-
the way that Star Wars do it is like a whole butterfly effect. Like even with like Rogue One, was it Rogue One they got the Death Star plans?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that's such a minor part in the originals, but that's a whole movie. Like
Yeah,
just how they
And a
found
good
those
movie
plans.
at that, Brian.
and a good movie, Brian. Yeah, but yeah, no, I completely agree. What do you think at all? Have you got anything else that you reckon could top it?
There's nothing else
Yeah.
that I could add.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I really don't think there is anything. But yeah, is that
That's it for our
Is
Star
that
Wars review. Yeah, we appreciate you guys stopping in. If you want to see more regular size reviews, let us know. If you want to see some spoiler free reviews as well, we'll see what we can cook up in the future.
yeah.
But we do enjoy doing spoiler discussions, so that is why we've done this again. But yeah, anyway, I've been Sam, that's been Jacob, and Jamie's been Jamie. Thank you for coming on, Jamie. We appreciate your input on the podcast for the review.
Anytime.
We're glad to have you. We'll have you back soon again, I'm sure. But anyway, that is the Star Wars review. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much.
Bye.